Hey y'all, so a lot of people have been asking me what the process to getting your tubes tied is like. So we gonna talk about that because it was not what I expected. Um, so if you new here, then you know I have 3 kids now. I just had my last one 2 weeks ago, and I had already said, after him that I was gonna get my tubes tied. So initially, I talked to my doctor and had set up to get them tied like immediately after birth or whatever, and signed all my paperwork and stuff because you have to do it like 8 weeks out. Signed my paperwork, and this whole time, I thought that it was gonna be something completely different than what it was. So I had my son on the 5th of January, and then I had my tubal the next morning. Now, y'all, if you know me, you know I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to surgeries and stuff. I was under the impression that I would be asleep when they tied my tubes. No, I was very much so awake. They literally did not tell me that I was gonna be woke until they was reeling me back for surgery. So this whole time I was like under the impression, oh, I'm gonna be asleep, I'm not gonna feel nothing, I'm gonna wake up and just be fertileless. No, they came in the room, they was like, okay, your anesthesiologist is here. Go lay down. Your anesthesiologist is here. They're gonna explain the situation to you. I was like, okay. This man then proceeds to tell me that they are gonna use an epidural to numb me from my toes to my neck. But I'm gonna be awake. Sir, I don't want no epidural. That defeats my whole purpose of doing a natural birth. I don't want no epidural. So then they proceed to tell me that basically they can't put me to sleep because I just had a baby. And I guess like when you're pregnant, all your organs get pushed up. And basically because I had just had the baby, they were scared they wasn't going to be able to get the tube, like the breathing tube, down my throat and down my nose properly. And in the case of an emergency, it would have been bad. So I'm like, okay, well, there's no other alternatives. Like, y'all can't put me to sleep somehow. Y'all can't give me something other than an epidural. Like, I don't want no epidural. They was like, no. Then they lied. They kind of lied and told me it wasn't an epidural. Well, it's not really an epidural. I'm like, okay. Then I get back there and I'm like, first of all, the whole process was like, it was real ratchet. Like, they came in the room and they was like, okay, it's time for surgery. It was like 8:15 or maybe it was 9:15 when they started, like when they came to get me or whatever. So they came in there and they wheelchaired me to the surgery room or whatever. Go lay down. They wheeled me to the surgery room, but they wanted me to take my clothes off. Like, all my clothes, including my drawers. I'm like, y'all know I just had a baby and I'm bleeding, right? They're like, it's okay. Then gonna put this little thin little pad thing on the seat and have me sit in it. I'm like, the heck? So they got me to the back. And they was like, get up on the table thing. We're gonna numb you. Okay. So they lied. They was full of it because that was definitely an epidural I got. They had me like sitting in the chair or sitting on the table, and it was a lady nurse in front of me, and I was leaning over onto her. And then they put it in my back. Like, I know the little scar probably gone now, but they put it in my back, like in my vein, in my spine area, and I felt it. And then they put some numbing stuff in it, but it burned. So I'm like, that burns, bro. Like, whatever you put in my back, it burns. So he's like, okay, just take deep breaths. It's almost over. And then all I remember was they was like, okay, now get up here and like kind of roll over onto your back. So I'm like, okay. So I'm laying on my back. And they had already told me they was gonna give me something for anxiety, because I told them, like, I have bad anxiety. Like, me being awake while you do this is not gonna work. So he was like, I'll give you something to kind of relax you. All right. So they doing the they not starting the surgery yet, but he's like taking this little sharp thing that was like a little needle, and he was like, okay, this is what it feels like up here. What's it feel like down here? So he like taking the needle and he like poking me in different parts of my body with it, and I'm like, okay, like trying to make sure I'm numb. But the whole time I'm not realizing my legs is like out of there. Like, I do not feel my legs. I can't feel my stomach. Yeah, so I couldn't feel my stomach. I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't feel my arms. Everything was numb. So all of the like people doing the surgery started coming in. So it was like 8 or 9 people in the room. All of the surgeons came in. The doctors came in. All of that. And they're like, okay, we about to start. I'm like, all right. And the doctor was like, I'm about to give you what a guy, I don't know if he was a doctor or if he was just like a physician. I'm not sure, but he was standing on the right side of me, like over my right shoulder. And it was a monitor to the right that was like keeping track of like my heart rate, my oxygen, my temperature, all of that. So he's standing on the right of me, and I remember him saying, okay, I'm about to give you something to relax you. I was like, okay. They gave me fentanyl, bro. Like, I didn't realize that that's what they gave me. I would have told them not to give me that, because I react very bad to fentanyl. Like, I'm not allergic to it, but I have like a reaction to it, if that makes sense. But I'm not allergic to it. Like, it don't make me break out in hives or nothing. It just makes my body react weird. So he gave me a dose of fentanyl through my IV. And next thing I know, I got like real droopy. But I was forgetting to breathe. Like, by now they had started the surgery already. When he gave me the medicine for the anxiety, they was like 10 minutes into the surgery, and I was awake the whole time. So I'm hearing everything. I'm hearing them cut me. I'm hearing them snip the tubes. Like, it literally was like freaking me out. Like, I was having a panic attack. And I'm like, no, like, I can hear it. It's bothering me. Like, bro, like, I need to be put to sleep. He was like, we can't put you to sleep. We've already started. Like, bro, I can hear this stuff. Like, I can hear it. And I don't know if people have had surgery, obviously, you know that sometimes they burn the part that they've cut, or they burn certain areas of your skin to fuse it together. So they like burning different parts of my skin, and I'm smelling it. I'm like, bro, this is, So he was like, you just need to relax, like take deep breaths. I'm like, okay. So I'm trying, like, he's trying to talk to me to distract me the whole time. Like, he was really awesome. I don't remember his name. I want to say his name was Mark or Marcus. But he was this really sweet guy. Like, he was trying to distract me. He was like talking to me. They were asking me like, what are you going to get when you leave the hospital? What's your first meal going to be after baby? Like, they was really trying to distract me. And it was like 7 or 8 doctors in there that was all like talking to me, like, you know, how much is baby weigh? Oh, he's so adorable. Like, just trying to keep my mind off what the doctors was doing. So after he gave me that fentanyl, I literally was forgetting to breathe. And apparently, from what they was saying, my heart rate dropped like really low, like to the point where they freaked out because I was having some type of reaction, I guess, to the medicine. It was relaxing too much. I'm gonna just say that. They gave me the medicine, and my whole body was just like, it just stopped. But I remember I was breathing normal, and then I remember I started breathing like kind of slow. And I remember the doctor to the right of me saying, like, take deep breaths, Angela. And I was like, okay. And then I would try to catch my breath and take another breath, but I was still breathing too slow. And when I was looking at the monitor, I don't know if it was my oxygen or my heart rate, but one of them said 33. And every time it went down to like 33, I would take a deep breath and like kind of gasp, and it would go back up to like 78 or 80. So I don't know if it was my heart or my oxygen. I don't really know. But I know when it dropped down to 30 or 33, the doctor to the right of me was like, you gotta take deep breaths, Angela. And then I was like trying. He was like, Angela, you have to take a deep breath. Like, he was like panicking. Like, his voice was getting more stern and kind of louder. Like, he was like almost yelling at me, like, you gotta breathe, because I wasn't breathing. And I remember like my eyes was like going in and out, like my focus was going in and out. Like, you know, before you pass out, you get the ringing noise in your ears. Everything was ringing real loud. and I could hear him, but he sounded far away, and then his voice sounded like real, like distant. And he was like, you know, they was kind of, I could hear it in their voice that they was panicking, but they didn't want to let me know that they was panicking because I was already panicking. So I finally got myself to take a deep breath, and I was good after that. But it was like 5 or 6 times he had to tell me, like, you got to take a deep breath. So the surgery altogether took like 2 hours. It took a minute. Like, I was back there for a minute, bro. It was probably not that long, but it felt like forever. I was back there at least an hour and a half, though. So when they got done with the surgery, they put me back onto a stretcher. Like, they kind of rolled me off. You know, they was like, everything went good. Surgery's great. You're fine. You know, you did great. I still felt weird at the time because I don't know. I just remember, like, everything, because I don't remember some of it. Like, I remember I was going in and out when they was talking to me, and I was, like, responding back, but I kept moving my, like, trying to move my legs, and they wasn't going nowhere. It was weird. So they got me on the bed, and then I had to go to this recovery room for, it was supposed to be 2 hours, but because my epidural didn't wear off, I was in there for like 4 hours, and then I was still numb for like 3 hours after that. So this whole time, the nursery had the baby, and they ended up having to give him formula and stuff because I was in surgery, and then I wasn't healing good, if you want to say that. I was healing, but I wasn't healing good. Like, the epidural wasn't wearing off how it was supposed to. So I'm panicking, thinking my ass paralyzed for life. I told y'all I ain't want this damn epidural. Now I can't walk. So they took me. I was in that room, in the recovery room, for like 3-4 hours. And they ended up bringing the baby to me. So she was like, do you want me to bring the baby up here to you? I was like, yes, like, bring me my baby. So they brought him up to the recovery room with me, and I was holding him, but I kept falling asleep. Like, I'm holding him because my arms, at this point, I was able to move my arms and my fingers and stuff. I just couldn't move, like, my lower half. And then, like, half my back was still numb. Like, numb. Like, when I say I could not move, I couldn't feel nothing. So she brought the baby to me. She handed him to me. I was holding him, and I kept dozing off. And the first couple times I did it, she was just like, she would come in the room and say, you okay? Do you want me to put him in his bassinet? And I'm like, no, I want to hold my baby. Not realizing that I'm falling asleep while I'm holding him, and it's not really safe. So she finally came in like, I'm just going to put baby in bassinet because you're dozing off. And I would hate for you to drop him or something happen. I'm like, girl, just put him in a bassinet. So she put him in a little bassinet thing and then left. And then eventually my nurse came in and was like, can you move your toes a little bit? My toes was moving. So she was like, cool, we can take you back to your room. They should not have took me back to my room yet because I could not move. Like, the doctors I had, like the 2 nurses I had wasn't my nurses. I didn't like them because they kept trying to tell me, like, we need you to try to work with us. I'm like, bitch, I'm numb from the waist. Like, I am numb. I can't feel nothing from my neck down. What you mean you need me to help you? She was like, well, can you just try to lift your butt? What butt? Like, I can't lift nothing. I don't even know I got a butt right now. She trying to get me to lift my butt, and then they trying to get me to scoot over into the bed from the gurney thing. I'm like, bro, I can't move. She was like, well, can you try to lift your legs for us? What legs? No, these legs don't move right now. So she like, okay, well, we're just going to pull you onto the bed. Mind you, I just had a baby and I have stitches. And y'all pulling me onto the bed. So my nurse finally came in. She was like, why did they shouldn't have brought you back yet. You weren't ready. I was like, yeah, I'm aware. So they got me in the bed or whatever. And then like 4 hours went by because I was going home that day. I still ended up going home that day, but it was like later at the night, like 9 o'clock when I went home. So she was like, okay, well, we can't let you leave until you, they wanted me to pee. I had to pee at least 3 times, but because I was numb, I couldn't feel when I had to pee. So I remember something my friend told me. And she was like, when, I guess she was at the hospital, I don't know if it was when she was having her daughter or what, but she was like, they told me to blow bubbles in my chocolate milk. And I was like, So I was sitting on the toilet, I'm trying to pee, and I'm like, bro, I can't. And I looked at my nurse, I said, you got some water? She's like, yeah. I was like, can you bring it to me? She's just looking at me like, sure. So she goes and gets it, and I'm blowing bubbles in this water, and my ass instantly peed. I'm like, yo, that junk works. And she was like, oh my God, I totally forgot about the blowing bubbles method. It's because you're pushing, like you're making your body push, so automatically it's gonna push the pee out. I'm like, okay. Apparently, I didn't empty my bladder. So she did like this little ultrasound on my bladder, and she was like, you still have a lot of pee in there. I'm going to have to cath you. I'm panicking, thinking I'm about to feel this junk. Y'all, when I tell y'all that my legs just Desert Eagle just open, and she had this whole catheter that was like this big, and I did not feel that junk. I didn't feel nothing. Like, I was like, did you do it? She was like, yeah, the pee's coming out. I was like, it is? She's like, yeah. I'm like, the tube in there? She's like, yeah. I said, I don't feel nothing. She was like, that's the epidural. I said, oh, this why them women don't be screaming. Okay. Y'all got the easy road. Yeah. Go ahead, take them drugs. That's why y'all don't be screaming. Y'all be all mellow, eating on the phone, walking around dancing. Yeah, I bet y'all do. Y'all can't feel a damn thing. Y'all don't feel the head or nothing. So, anyway. I finally peed, I guess. And then, what happened after I peed? I don't even remember. Y'all, it's a blur. But everybody was asking me what my experience was with it. So, I'm trying to tell y'all what I remember. But I peed, and then they came in. They looked at my incision. They was like, it looks great. Yada, yada, yada. All right, cool. Can I go home now? So, yeah, they ended up letting me go home at like 9 o'clock. But overall, this is besides the point. Overall, the experience was scary. 0 stars, do not recommend. I'm happy I did it and it's done and it's out the way now. But the healing process, oh my God, like that first week was awful. I was in so much pain the first week after I got them done. Like, so much pain. I couldn't cough. I couldn't yell. Like, the kids would be in the back room and I would be in my room and I would be trying to like yell for them or say something. And I couldn't talk louder than this. Like, this is as loud as I could talk. So if I'm trying to yell their names, it's not working. Like, I'm trying to holler for my mom. I'm like, Mom. And nobody's hearing me because I'm whispering. But I literally could not talk any louder because the pain in my stomach. Like, when I was getting out the bed, I would have to literally roll. And then it was bad. Like, the healing process after a tubal is awful. Especially right after you have a baby. It's awful. So, I think I'm almost healed now. They said 6 to 8 weeks. I'll be at 3 weeks in a couple days. It doesn't hurt now. You know, I don't have to I stopped taking my pain meds like a week and a half ago. I haven't taken nothing in a minute. But yeah, overall, it's scary. So I ended up coming home at like 8, 9 o'clock. My mom picked us up. And yeah, so that's about it. It's a crazy experience, though. It's very crazy. It's very, very crazy. Especially being awake, which is weird because I have friends that got it done right after they had babies, and they put them to sleep. Why y'all ain't put me to sleep? I wanted to take a nap. I didn't get that luxury, though. I had to be woke and damn near half dead when they did my surgery. But this is my scar. This is the scar from it. And my stretch marks because my son just fucked me up. Like, why? Why he even have to do me like that? But overall, my stomach is dang near gone, y'all. Snapback. Snapback is real. Snapback is a real, honey. This is a stretch mark, y'all. Yeah, Baby K did me bold. I got so many stretch marks from him. But overall, this is what my stomach look like now. So it's basically flat. I'm down to 153, I think, now. And I was 175 when I delivered. So, yeah. But that's about it. And I'm about to post this funky-ass video since y'all keep bugging me about it. And if you haven't already, comment, like, and subscribe. Because I'll be noticing that 33% of y'all don't be my subscribers but be watching my videos. And I don't like that. I don't like that. So go and subscribe and like and comment and share and do whatever else y'all got to do. And I'm about to go eat. Peace out.